Yeah, let's get it. Let's talk about some Fire Emblem songs. So, Expedition from Fire Emblem 12. So, obviously, again, the Mystery of the Emblem remake of the original Mystery of the Emblem. This song, it is an expedition, alright. You are going on a journey, certainly. So, yeah, it's still definitely I guess a bumpy journey, let's just put it that way. So, obviously, the remake of this song sort of changes up the tempo in general, way that the song kind of swings. So, I mean, that's cool, but with this song, it has this weird sort of like boingy, sort of like drum thing. I guess that it, obviously you can sort of hear it in the, as, sort of like a synthesizer, of course. And it's kind of more in the background, but also it sort of acts like, a weird bass line into the song, like boom, boom, boom. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I guess it definitely creeps around in the melody line a little bit. Of course, yeah, there's a more constant static noise that you can hear as well in the background, sort of. But and that's more of the that's more of the proper bass line. But of course, then there's the horn. The horn just kind of randomly spurts in and out of being there, like bum 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 bum. It's almost like it's playing like a a descending piano or something, sort of like that. Every few seconds, you can also hear a little tambourine as well. It's supposed to be like an expedition, and the tempo is a little bit inconsistent, across the song, but still, I mean, it does represent, putting your boots in the ground, putting your boots in the hard sand, and just trekking it out ever fluently up the mountain, and obviously, heading towards your destiny, heading towards your duty, of course, but still, I mean, it's definitely just kind of it's an off-putting song, even still. It's not exactly like a linear climb, ascending towards the top of Mount Rainier. It's kind of yeah, it's a very weird. So let's mess with the song, I guess, a little bit. So obviously, just pop it into Audacity and just give it a couple little layers of reverb, and yeah. So here's what it sounds like. Sounds, a bit more, I guess, atmospheric, actually. Yeah, definitely a little bit more atmospheric. It's more like a, stop and see the sights along, the expedition. It's definitely, feels more like, stopping to appreciate, all the wonderful greenery and all the, other little, weird extremities at the base of Mount Rainier before, actually ascending to the top. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, this is definitely a nicer, sounding version of the original, but heading back to the bass song, let's add some treble, and treble basically just boosts the higher frequencies to make them more, I guess, noticeable. Actually sort of hear, I guess, more of the tambourine sounds, but actually they sound more, kind of like cymbals instead. Maybe, I don't know what exactly they used, but still, it is very interesting that we could barely hear them, at all in the bass version of the song. At least these little, little taps of cymbals, but now they become much more prominent. Yeah, that's cool. But now let's add some bass to this little variant of the song. Of course, we'll lower the volume first before we do that. But yeah, adding the bass. song now, it kind of just, I guess it does kind of sound a bit more flat. It just kind of sounds like a very normal, sort of trek through, a local path at the park. I mean, obviously it sounds like it has a completely different, sort of rhythm, compared to the original version of the song. But, I mean, it's, yeah, I guess that is interesting. And of course, the cymbals that we heard before, they comprise, sort of, melody of this version of the song, kind of. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit weird, but either way, we'll take things back to the original version of the song, and this time, well, it's called a sliding stretch, and basically, we can change the, tempo, dynamically of a song, and as well as the pitch, you can start it at like 0, and then it'll gradually end at a 33% increase in the tempo, and yeah, let's just add it, and then we'll add a little bit of an echo afterwards for a synthesizing effect, and it sounds like this. A little start of the song here, kind of sounds brown and a little bit dull. It just kind of sounds like a muddy, sort of a glub of, notes here, but the song, starts picking up at pace. It's a little bit, yeah, it doesn't, sound crazy at first, but then, yeah, around 20 seconds, it sounds like it's gonna start to kill me now. The bass line, that is. Yeah, that bass line is, sort of, starting to get a little bit violent. Let's just put it that way. And it sounds like it's walking, ever closer to me. And yeah, it's even sound. Obviously, the boingy drums, around 50 seconds in the song, they are definitely, they are definitely sound unsettling to me, at least. But yeah, I guess this song is weird. But let's, head back to the original song, and let's just speed it up by like 3 times. And it kind of sounds like, a symphonic, popcorn machine. Yeah, this is definitely a little bit funny. And now it sounds like it's stumbling because it's drunk, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess interesting song, but oh well. Okay, so before moving on, actually, we're gonna, well, what I did with the, the song is I, increased the tempo, by, a fair bit, as you can see, and then I changed the speed of the song, back to, the original amount of time that it was in, well, in the original, and, well, this is what it sounds like. Don't even know how to describe what's going on here, but alright. Let's try this with a different song. We're gonna go back a little bit to the well, to the Eternal Bond from Radiant Dawn, and Apparently the series has had EDM for quite a while, but all jokes aside, I mean, still, it is very weird just, how different these songs sound. I mean, there's a certain sense of unease to them, but also, obviously, a very strong, ambience, I guess, to some of these songs, and obviously, Eternal Bond is meant to be, very, very strong and, up front, with it in terms of, Ike and, overcoming his demons that are trying to engulf the continent with their with their racism and their doctrines and whatnot, and all that jazz in Tellius. But still, I mean, this is quite an interesting way to listen to the song. But so let's head back to a song that would probably be I guess a little bit simpler because of course the GBA, and we're going to the Path to Greatness from FE6, the song that plays in the final two chapters in the Dragon Sanctuary, of course, and it acts as the true final boss theme as well. It is a fairly, sort of mellow track, especially for a final boss theme, but I guess it, focuses on being, a little bit more elegant with the way the sound, breathes in and out, as you would put it. But either way, we're going to put a few layers of reverb on it, specifically 6 layers of that sweet, sweet reverb, and, well, yeah, that was pretty gracious. I mean, not all songs, they survive, 6 towers of reverb, but I think that is that's pretty cool of this song. To still sound at least a little bit composed and generally whatnot. And it sounds like a gong, boom, boom. Obviously, I don't know if it's still super atmospheric, but it does its job. But either way, yeah, there's a little bit more of a sullen intensity that we can hear in this song now. But onto the second track where. This is the result of multi-tracking, and specifically 6 multi-tracks that we just placed over each other in Audacity. And yeah, this is a result. Of course, the volume on each track was lowered a little bit to not blow everyone's ears out, but it is certainly interesting. Certain songs, they don't really survive multi-tracking that well. Certain songs that make use of beautiful either instrumentation or use their instrumentation heavily to create melodies, like a lot of Fire Emblem songs do. Multi-tracking can give them a little bit more depth, or a grander feel, or just in general make them easier to appreciate. But this is 2 multi-track. This version here is up to 4 tracks. Obviously, the version that we listened to first is the 6-track version. And of course, once you start to get to 7 tracks, the instrumentation and musically it starts to sound a little bit off. It starts to break down a little bit, but yeah, it is what it is. But that's definitely a thing. But I used a sliding stretch, and I made the tempo go slower, and yeah, it sounds like this. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's crazy. But what else I did here is I went back to the original sort of song, added, increased the tempo very slightly, used a little bit of a phaser effect, relatively lightly, and then I put it in the pulse stretch, and yeah, times 1.1, and this is what happened. Yeah, Fire Emblem, it's going a little bit demon mode. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, I mean, yeah, this music it certainly has, yeah, it certainly is the ocean's gray waves, of course. But yeah, I guess to finish out the video, we'll do my own little, multi-track, sort of thing. Changing around the volumes of, the songs, a little bit and whatnot, and adding some multi-tracks, then multi-tracking those multi-tracks. And yeah, obviously Fire Emblem uses dynamic sound, quite expertly, and it, generally has, been for quite a while, and it's gotten a little bit better over time. But still, this is what the multi-track little thing I made sounds like.